Donald J. Trump, a real estate mogul, a television personality, the 45th President of the United States, and one of the most controversial figures in modern history. From the skyscrapers of Manhattan to the halls of the White House, his life has been anything but ordinary. But how did he rise to power, and what will history say about him? Let's take a deep dive into the biography of Donald Trump. Chapter 1: Early Life and Family. The early life and family of Donald Trump. Before he became a billionaire businessman and the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump was just a kid growing up in Queens, New York. Born into a wealthy real estate family, his childhood and upbringing shaped the man he would become. But what was his early life really like? Let's take a deep dive into the story of Donald Trump's early years and his family's powerful legacy. To understand Donald Trump, we must first understand his family. His grandfather, Friedrich Trump, was a German immigrant who arrived in the US in 1885. He built his fortune through businesses in Alaska and later settled in New York, laying the foundation for the Trump family's wealth. Donald's father, Fred Trump, took that foundation and turned it into an empire. By the 1940s, he was one of New York's most successful real estate developers, specializing in middle-class housing projects in Queens and Brooklyn. But Fred Trump wasn't just a businessman. He was a strict, disciplined father whose influence on Donald would be lifelong. Donald John Trump was born on June 14, 1946, in Queens, New York. He was the fourth of 5 children in the Trump family. His mother, Mary Ann McLeod Trump, was a Scottish immigrant who came to America in search of opportunity. She was known for her elegance and strong religious values, which played a role in shaping young Donald's worldview. Growing up in a wealthy family, Donald had a privileged yet disciplined childhood. The Trump household was competitive, and Fred Trump pushed his children to be tough, ambitious, and business-minded. It was clear from a young age that Donald had a bold personality, one that would set him apart from his siblings. However, young Donald was also known for being aggressive and strong-willed. His parents sent him to private school, hoping to channel his energy into academics and sports. But that wasn't enough to keep him in line. At the age of 13, Donald Trump was sent to the New York Military Academy. His parents hoped that the strict environment would teach him discipline and leadership. At first, he resisted, but over time, he thrived in the structured system. At the academy, Trump became a star athlete and a respected leader among his peers. He played baseball, was a standout in sports, and developed a competitive edge that would stay with him for life. After graduating from the military academy, Trump attended Fordham University for 2 years before transferring to the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. Wharton was one of the few business schools in the country that offered a real estate program, making it the perfect fit. Even during his college years, Trump was focused on business. He wasn't just a student. He was already learning the trade from his father, Fred, visiting construction sites and sitting in on business meetings. By the time Donald Trump graduated in 1968, he was ready to step into the family business, but he had bigger dreams. He didn't just want to follow in his father's footsteps, he wanted to build a real estate empire of his own. And soon, the world would know the name Donald J. Trump. Donald Trump's early life was shaped by discipline, ambition, and family expectations. From a young boy in Queens to a cadet at a military academy, he learned the values of toughness and resilience, traits that would define his rise in business and politics. But how did he take his first steps into the world of real estate? Stay tuned for our next episode on the rise of Donald Trump's business empire. Chapter 2: Donald Trump's Real Estate Empire, Rise, Fall, and Legacy. Donald J. Trump, business mogul, reality TV star, and former US president, built his name on skyscrapers, casinos, and luxury hotels. But how did he create his real estate empire, and what happened to it over the years? Let's take a deep dive into Trump's real estate legacy. It all started with Fred Trump, Donald's father, who built a real estate fortune in New York's outer boroughs, developing affordable housing. Donald, however, had bigger ambitions. He wanted to build in Manhattan. After graduating from Wharton, Trump joined the family business, but soon set his sights on high-profile developments in the heart of New York City. His first big break? The Commodore Hotel. In 1976, Trump struck a deal to renovate the struggling Commodore Hotel near Grand Central Station. With tax breaks and a partnership with Hyatt, he turned it into the Grand Hyatt, a massive success that put him on the map. Opened in 1983, this 58-story glass skyscraper on Fifth Avenue became a symbol of luxury and power. The building housed celebrities, high-end shops, and Trump's own penthouse, solidifying his status as a real estate mogul. With his Manhattan success, Trump expanded into casinos and hotels. In Atlantic City, he built Trump Plaza, Trump Castle, and the Trump Taj Mahal, branding them as the ultimate luxury gambling destinations. But not all his ventures were successful. The Atlantic City casinos faced financial trouble, leading to multiple bankruptcies. Despite this, Trump continued expanding, licensing his name to properties worldwide, from Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas to golf courses in Scotland. By the 2000s, Trump had shifted away from property ownership, focusing more on licensing his brand. The 2008 financial crisis hit hard, forcing him to sell off assets like the Plaza Hotel. Even after becoming president, his real estate empire remained a key part of his brand. Today, the Trump Organization continues to own and manage properties worldwide, though many of his ventures have faced legal and financial challenges. Chapter 3: The Celebrity Businessman. Before he was president, before he was a political icon, Donald Trump was a brand. From towering skyscrapers to reality TV fame, he mastered the art of self-promotion like no one else. But how did he turn his name into a billion-dollar business? This is the story of Donald Trump, the celebrity businessman. Donald Trump was born into a real estate empire. His father, Fred Trump, built a fortune developing middle-class housing in New York, but Donald had bigger ambitions. He wanted to dominate Manhattan. In the 1970s and 80s, he made bold moves. He transformed the crumbling Commodore Hotel into the Grand Hyatt, secured tax breaks, and built his crown jewel, Trump Tower. With its gold-plated interiors and celebrity tenants, it was more than just a building, it was a statement. But Trump wasn't just a real estate developer, he was a brand. He understood the power of his name. Soon, Trump was everywhere: casinos in Atlantic City, golf resorts, an airline, even a board game. If it could be sold, Trump put his name on it. Some ventures succeeded, others flopped. But one thing never changed: Trump's ability to keep himself in the spotlight. In 2004, Donald Trump made his biggest leap into mainstream pop culture with The Apprentice. The show turned him into America's boss, tough, confident, and always in control. Contestants competed for a job in his organization, and when they failed, cut to Trump, you're fired. It became his signature catchphrase. The show was a massive success, running for 14 seasons and making Trump one of the most recognizable figures in television. But behind the celebrity image, Trump's business ventures faced turbulence. His Atlantic City casinos filed for bankruptcy multiple times. Trump University was sued for fraud. His net worth fluctuated, but his public persona remained larger than life. And he knew how to reinvent himself. From guest appearances on WWE to feuding with celebrities, Trump kept his name in the headlines, good or bad. Trump's ability to capture attention wasn't just good for business, it paved the way for his political rise. In 2015, he announced his run for president. Many dismissed it as another publicity stunt. But Trump had mastered the art of media, branding, and controversy, skills that helped him win the White House. Donald Trump's journey from real estate mogul to reality TV star to president is a story unlike any other. Love him or hate him, his ability to market himself turned his name into a billion-dollar empire. But what do you think? Is Trump a genius businessman or just a master of self-promotion? Let us know in the comments. Chapter 4: The Road to the White House. Donald J. Trump's journey to the White House was one of the most shocking political upsets in American history. A businessman with no prior political experience, he defeated seasoned politicians, won the Republican nomination, and took on Hillary Clinton in a fiercely contested election. But how did he do it? Let's break down Donald Trump's road to the White House. On June 16, 2015, Donald Trump stood at Trump Tower and announced his bid for the presidency. His speech was direct, controversial, and unlike any other candidate's. He promised to make America great again, criticized illegal immigration, and vowed to bring back jobs. Clips of news anchors reacting to Trump's announcement. At first, political analysts dismissed him as a long-shot candidate. Many thought he was running as a publicity stunt. But Trump's message resonated with a large portion of the American electorate, especially working-class voters who felt ignored by the political elite. Trump entered a crowded Republican primary with 16 opponents, including seasoned politicians like Jeb Bush, Marco Rubio, and Ted Cruz. But Trump's aggressive debate style and ability to dominate the media gave him an edge. His strategy was simple: attack the political establishment, energize his base, and use the media to his advantage. While other candidates relied on traditional advertising, Trump used social media and headline-grabbing statements to stay in the spotlight for free. His victories in early primaries stunned political experts. By May 2016, his rivals had dropped out, and Trump officially secured the Republican nomination. With the Republican nomination secured, Trump now faced Hillary Clinton, the former Secretary of State and a seasoned politician. Polls consistently showed Clinton as the favorite, but Trump's unconventional campaign strategy kept him competitive. Trump's rallies were massive, drawing tens of thousands of supporters. His message focused on economic nationalism, border security, and being an outsider who would drain the swamp in Washington. The debates were intense, with Trump attacking Clinton over her emails and the Washington establishment. Despite facing criticism over leaked tapes and scandals, his support remained strong among his base. On November 8, 2016, the world watched as the results rolled in. Polls had predicted a Clinton victory, but as the night went on, Trump won key battleground states: Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. The so-called blue wall had crumbled. At around 2:30 a.m., Hillary Clinton conceded the election, and Donald Trump was declared the 45th President of the United States. It was a political upset for the ages. Trump's road to the White House was historic, unpredictable, and unlike any campaign before it. His victory shattered political norms, redefined the Republican Party, and changed American politics forever. Whether you see him as a champion of the people or a controversial disruptor, one thing is certain: Donald Trump's 2016 campaign will be studied for generations to come. What do you think about Trump's road to the White House? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth political documentaries. Chapter 5: The Trump Presidency. Donald J. Trump's presidency was one of the most controversial and transformative in modern American history. From major policy changes to intense political battles, his 4 years in office reshaped the country and the world. But what really happened during the Trump years? Let's break it down. In 2016, Donald Trump shocked the world by defeating Hillary Clinton to become the 45th President of the United States. Running as a political outsider, he promised to make America great again by focusing on the economy, border security, and shaking up Washington. On January 20th, 2017, he took office with a pledge to put America first. But from day one, his presidency was met with both praise and fierce resistance. Trump's presidency brought major policy shifts. Some of his most significant accomplishments included tax cuts, deregulation, and reshaping the Supreme Court with 3 conservative justices. Under his administration, unemployment reached record lows and the stock market soared. Now he also prioritized border security, pushing for a border wall and strict immigration policies. His America First foreign policy led to trade wars with China, a renegotiation of NAFTA, and unprecedented talks with North Korea. Footage of Trump meeting with Kim Jong-un and signing the USMCA trade deal. But Trump's presidency was never without controversy. His unfiltered communication style, especially on Twitter, sparked political firestorms almost daily. His handling of racial protests, relations with the media, and allegations of foreign interference in US elections fueled deep divisions. In 2019, he became the third US president to be impeached, accused of pressuring Ukraine to investigate political rivals. The Senate acquitted him, but the controversies didn't end there. In 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic hit, bringing the greatest crisis of Trump's presidency. His administration rushed to develop vaccines under Operation Warp Speed, but his response to lockdowns, mask mandates, and public health messaging was widely debated. The pandemic devastated the economy, with millions losing jobs, businesses shutting down, and the government rolling out massive relief packages. Meanwhile, Trump's handling of the crisis became a central issue in his re-election bid. The 2020 election saw Trump face off against Joe Biden in a highly charged race. Despite winning over 74 million votes, he lost to Biden, but refused to concede, claiming widespread election fraud. His legal challenges failed, but tensions escalated, culminating in the January 6th attack on the US Capitol. Shortly after, Trump was impeached for a second time, though once again, the Senate acquitted him. On January 20th, 2021, Trump left the White House, but his influence on American politics was far from over. So how will history remember Donald Trump's presidency? Chapter 6: The 2020 Election and Post-Presidency. The 2020 election was one of the most intense and controversial in American history. Donald Trump, the incumbent president, faced Joe Biden in a race that divided the nation. What happened during the election, and what has Trump been up to since leaving office? Let's dive deep into the story of the 2020 election and Donald Trump's post-presidency. After 4 years in office, Trump sought re-election against former Vice President Joe Biden. His campaign focused on economic recovery, law and order, and an America First approach. Meanwhile, Biden, running as the Democratic candidate, promised to unify the country, tackle COVID-19, and restore political norms. Trump's campaign relied heavily on large rallies, while Biden took a more cautious approach due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The election was shaped by major events: the pandemic, nationwide protests, and the Supreme Court appointment of Amy Coney Barrett. On November 3rd, 2020, Americans cast their votes. It was a long night, with early results favoring Trump in key swing states. But as mail-in ballots were counted, Biden took the lead. On November 7th, major news networks projected Joe Biden as the winner, with 306 electoral votes to Trump's 232. Trump, however, refused to concede, claiming widespread election fraud. His legal team filed lawsuits in multiple states, but most were dismissed due to a lack of evidence. Tensions escalated when, on January 6, 2021, thousands of Trump supporters stormed the US Capitol in an attempt to stop the certification of Biden's victory. The riot led to chaos, destruction, and multiple deaths. In response, the House of Representatives impeached Trump for incitement of insurrection, making him the only US president to be impeached twice. The Senate later acquitted him, but the event left a lasting impact on his presidency. On January 20th, 2021, Joe Biden was inaugurated as the 46th president. Trump, breaking with tradition, did not attend the ceremony. Instead, he flew to Mar-a-Lago, his Florida estate, beginning his life after the presidency. Despite leaving office, Trump remained a dominant force in American politics. He continued to claim the 2020 election was stolen, endorsed Republican candidates for the 2022 midterms, and even launched his own social media platform, Truth Social. With ongoing legal battles, investigations, and a strong base of supporters, Trump's post-presidency has been anything but quiet. Many wonder, will he run for president again? Love him or hate him, Donald Trump remains one of the most influential political figures in modern history. Will he make a comeback, or has his time in politics come to an end? Only time will tell. The Trump presidency of 2024, a decisive return. In an unprecedented comeback, Donald J. Trump has been re-elected as the 47th President of the United States in 2024. This video delves into the key events and policies that have defined his return to the White House. After his 2020 defeat, Trump announced his 2024 candidacy in November 2022. Facing Vice President Kamala Harris, he secured victory with 312 electoral votes, including wins in pivotal swing states like Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Wisconsin. In January 2025, Trump was inaugurated, becoming the second president to serve non-consecutive terms since Grover Cleveland. He swiftly signed 26 executive orders on his first day, targeting policies from the previous administration. Trump's early policies focused on immigration reform, including mass deportations and border security enhancements. He also prioritized energy independence by promoting fossil fuel production and dismantling environmental regulations. The administration featured notable figures like Elon Musk, appointed to lead the Department of Government Efficiency, aiming to streamline federal operations. Domestically, Trump targeted diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, issuing orders to eliminate them in federal agencies. His administration also sought to redefine gender policies and restrict abortion rights, sparking nationwide debates. On the global stage, Trump adopted an America First stance, engaging in trade negotiations and reassessing alliances. He expressed willingness to meet certain international demands, such as considering Russia's objections to Ukraine's NATO membership. Trump's return has been met with both fervent support and significant opposition. His policies have ignited debates on civil rights, environmental concerns, and America's role in global affairs. As the nation navigates this renewed chapter under President Trump, the impacts of his policies continue to shape the American landscape. The coming years will reveal the lasting effects of this administration on the country's future. The legacy and impact of Donald J. Trump, a defining figure in American history. Donald J. Trump, businessman, reality TV star, and the 45th President of the United States. Loved by millions, opposed by many, and undeniably one of the most influential political figures of the 21st century. But what is Trump's legacy? How has he changed American politics, culture, and the world? Let's break it all down. Trump's entry into politics shattered traditional norms. With his America First agenda and populist appeal, he changed the Republican Party and redefined conservative politics. His blunt rhetoric, outsider status, and willingness to attack both Democrats and establishment Republicans made him a unique political force. His victory in 2016 was one of the greatest political upsets in history, showing that millions of Americans wanted a break from career politicians. But his impact wasn't just electoral. As president, Trump focused on deregulation, tax cuts, and reshaping the courts. His administration passed a historic tax reform bill, appointed 3 conservative Supreme Court justices, and prioritized American manufacturing. His America First foreign policy led to trade wars, a renegotiated NAFTA, and unprecedented talks with North Korea. Some praised his tough stance on China, while others criticized his handling of international relations. On immigration, Trump pushed for stronger border security and built hundreds of miles of border wall, sparking fierce debate. While Trump had a loyal base, his presidency was also one of the most polarizing in modern history. His handling of the COVID-19 pandemic, 2 impeachment trials, and the events of January 6th left the country deeply divided. To his critics, Trump's presidency was chaotic and destructive. To his supporters, he was a fighter against the political elite and the mainstream media. After leaving office, Trump continued to shape American politics. He remained the leader of the Republican Party, endorsed candidates, and built a new media presence. What do you think about Donald Trump's legacy? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth historical biographies. Thanks for watching.